Yo. What's good, y'all? Love the 5 second countdown instead of that 2 minute one we had
Oh my
before,
God,
but
that thing need to take way too long.
shit gets me hyped, man. But another episode of the gods, bruh. The gods. You know what time it is. 6 p.m. motherfucking Pacific time, Tuesday, the gods hour. You know what time it is. What's
Tea
up,
time.
man? Dan, how you doing? Jay, how you doing? How y'all living?
Bro, we living good, bro. I mean, it's just another episode of what we do. Check us out on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, all of that. We'll be back on TikTok next
Not
week, though.
TikTok. Not TikTok.
Not
Yo,
TikTok.
what's good, y'all?
Not
Appreciate y'all
TikTok.
tuning in with us here on YouTube and Twitch. Yeah, we banned on TikTok right now. We got banned for nothing. How did we get fucking banned? I don't know the answer to that. Nobody does. But we
Oh
here
God, I don't
still,
know.
hey, back on schedule with the TikTok next Sunday. So if you missed us on Sunday, it ain't our fault. It was a TikTok thing, man.
It is a
Yeah.
TikTok thing, man.
That's why we got to
got
build up the
haters
YouTube. If
out
you don't
there.
follow, you ain't subbed on YouTube, do that just in case some shit happens.
Yeah, definitely, man. I mean, Halo. Nevertheless, we got one hell of a show for y'all. About to cover these injuries for you guys. I'll go over some waiver pickups, a lot of trade talks, and some good performances here too. We got a bounce back from A Rob, huh? Bounce back
Whoa.
little game. He's trying to show some face, trying to, you know what I mean, keep hope alive. But yeah, man, we got one hell of a show, man. And but yeah, I mean, how's you guys' outcomes? You guys what? You guys got a
This
couple
week,
dubs?
this season has been weird. Like there was a
Yeah.
lot of low scoring matchups this week, bro.
Yeah.
It has been an ugly start. 6 games in, we're a third of the way through the NFL season, and right now, I can't tell you how things are going to turn out, man. Which is there's a lot of parity, but then there's also a lot of question marks still remaining. A lot of elite talent that hasn't been producing in fantasy. So it's not a point to where I would panic. I just think everybody needs to adjust. This doesn't seem like it's going to be the same as years past with a lot of high scoring, 150, 200 point total games. It feels like a little bit less than that, and there's going to be a lot more randoms appearing in our lineups as the year goes on. So temper your expectations. If you're 2-3, it seems like every league I'm in, there's like a 6-0 team, 1-5-1 team, 1-4-2 team, and then like all 3-3.
Everybody's
Like
right there.
everybody is fucking
Yeah.
3-3. So I think things can change pretty drastically here soon.
Yeah, I have to agree. It's really just kind of up and down. This week it's going to be this guy. This week it's going to be this guy. No real consistency unless you're really an elite player in fantasy, and it's crazy. I speaking of to P's question, I had a really good week in fantasy. Pretty much every money league I dominated except for one. The fantasy gods, man, the bot got my ass. He got revenge from the championship
bot.
game.
Is
last
that really
week,
revenge, though?
So I mean, hey,
It's like the
Shout-
Bills
shout
getting
to
revenge
Connor,
against
bro.
the Chiefs. It doesn't really count.
doesn't count exactly.
Doesn't count.
Doesn't
Oh,
count.
shots on the low.
But hey, different year, bro. Different year.
Hey, but to speak to your point, I mean, it does feel like a little bit of an off season. It's like, hey, where are these big games? Where are these big blow up games? And the off season, right? It's all of that move, all that fluctuation. Russ leaving, Tyreek leaving, Devontae leaving. This is the effect that we're seeing, to keep it a buck, right? Like these blow up games from Tyreek, where the hell are they at? I mean, they're here, they're kind of consistent, but like Devontae leaving Aaron Rodgers, we're seeing that whole Green Bay offense kind of take a plunge. I mean, when you have an off season like that with all those moves, it takes some time to adapt, baby.
Right.
Got to adapt. This is what we're doing. And there's a lot of buy low opportunities, right? And you got to take advantage of them. I think this season's provided them. We talk about guys like Jamar Chase, who had a monster game there, and Joe Burrow, monster games there in New Orleans. Talking about guys like Brandon Ayuk, right? 2 touchdowns there in Atlanta. So you don't always want to give up on those guys after 4 or 5 weeks, especially that you've scouted early on, because they might turn it around, right? We saw Chase Claypool have a decent set of games here now, back-to-back weeks with over 5 catches. So to me, it's long game, man, and you got to make sure that if you did your due diligence, don't throw it all out the window in 5 weeks of an 18-week season. It didn't make sense then. It doesn't make sense now. So we've talked about it. This is the name of the game. It's buy low on talent that you did your homework on. Trust the evals, because a lot of times it comes back to help you on later in the year.
That's facts. That's facts. Well, look, man, let's get into some of these injuries because this is huge. Some good, some big injuries, and but I think the most pressing one that we've seen is the running back from Baltimore.
What's his name, P?
Oh man, you're killing me. Damn, I'm
For real?
terrible
Or
with
you just
names,
kidding?
y'all. I'm just kidding, y'all. But I mean, I kind of lightweight did forget here, so.
You're JK?
Um, I'm just kidding you. J.K. Dobbins. Yo, it's
Bruh.
been a long week. It's been a long work week,
Bro, you
baby.
don't know
It's been a
these
long
names,
day, man.
dog.
It's tough, man. My brain is
How
fried
are
from
you
my
a
day.
god?
Man,
Come
what do you
on,
mean? How
bruh.
my God, nigga? I'll levitate right now. But but J.K. Dobbins re-injuring his knee, right? So I mean, if you've seen, I don't know if you guys seen the reports. He tweaked it. He was out for the game. Kenyon Drake went started shining. I mean, you guys putting much stock into that? You guys, I mean, Dan, what are you thinking about that?
Well, it's horrible. At the end of the day, you have to put major stock into this guy. I mean, as far as his injury goes, if you have him, it's a wait and see what happens. Wait for the medical doctors to come out and really confirm what went on. But yeah, man, I mean, the whole Ravens, the whole team is imploding at this point, and really the only guys you want are Lamar and Mark Andrews, and really Lamar's kind of in a sense trending down until he gets Bateman back. We need to see what's going on with this whole running game. Obviously, if Kenyon Drake is on waivers, someone to pick up. But yeah, it's tough. It's tough to see that because we wanted to see like J.K. Dobbins came back doing well, like that's what we want, and then another setback.
Yeah, I was kind of concerned about this, and I think I alluded to it in one of the shows we had before, talking about his workload and just coming off of a major injury. It's tough to see those guys just come back into full workloads, especially when they first get started. A lot of times they get re-injured, or there's just little knickknacks trying to work back into a full workload. And this Ravens team not only has Kenyon Drake, Mike Davis, Justice Hill, I think he's on IR now, but Gus Edwards is coming back. Like, there's a lot of mouths to feed in this Baltimore Ravens attack. So J.K. Dobbins is a little banged up. It's concerning. It's not something where I would go panic drop him or panic sell him right now, but it's something to monitor just in case.
Okay, so if you see Kenyon Drake out there on waivers, is that somebody you're prioritizing then?
Personally, no. I mean, it's a committee, and I know he had a big game, 100 yards. I'm not looking too much into it. I think it was a one-off.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, another interesting signing that Baltimore just had, they're bringing Djax. They're bringing Djax back, baby. Take the top. Let's see if he's still fast. What do you guys think about that? Are you guys in on that, or is that somebody you're looking at on the waiver wire, Deshaun Jackson?
I'm not looking at him on the waiver wire. I mean, I think he's a situational player, like a KJ Hamler type player for the Broncos. May get a good play. He is the classic boomer bust player his whole career. And I mean, what do you really expect from him moving forward in the offseason? For me, I'm probably not even targeting him. But he should open up for Bateman when he comes back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not really buying in on Deshaun Jackson. To me, Deshaun Jackson's a guy. He's just like Devin Duvernay. If he splashes for you and gets a 50-yard catch or a touchdown, he got you your 10, 15 points. Other than that, he's going to miss on most weeks. So I'm not in on Deshaun Jackson. I think in a 14-team or 16-team league, there's a little bit of intrigue there, but nothing. He's not worth breaking the bank for at all in anything less than that.
Gotcha. Okay, and I can rock with that. So, listen, we got some questions coming in. As always, you guys do a great job of keeping this thing lit. So keep these questions coming. We got my man Stank.
That's
Thoughts
your
on
nickname, ain't
these?
it, P?
Nah, not anymore, man. Not since I went clean. But thoughts on these? DK and Godwin for Evans and Hopkins. What? Or DK and Godwin for Pittman and Najee. I would do anything to get Evans and Hopkins out of those two to keep it a buck. If for Pittman and Najee, I don't know that I would do that. I mean, you guys think any differently?
I think they're kind of both good deals to me. I mean, I think you're getting Evans. Obviously, is just he's the best receiver on that team. So even though Godwin's got that safe floor, but Evans got that monster ceiling. And then Hopkins or DK, it's really just your preference. And I think Hopkins, without Marquise Brown in the lineup, at least in the short term, you're getting a lot better value versus DK. And then on the flip side, No, Michael Pittman is a monster. He's a really young receiver coming up. He will be the next in the top 10 at receivers for sure for at least the next 4 or 5 years. At least that's what it looks like at this point. And then Najee, you're just kind of buying low. And, especially if you need a running back, go get him. And he scored a touchdown last week.
Yeah. I think for sure I'm going to Evans and D-Hop one. The other one would make me question it a little bit more. And like Dan said, you're just buying low at a positional swap. So DK does have a low floor at times, and I think Najee has a low floor at times. So if you're doing a Pittman-Godwin swap, I like Pittman a little bit more than Godwin. DK and Najee, I think they both have low floors. DK probably has a higher ceiling. I would probably not do that deal, but if you need a running back, it's not bad.
Definitely not bad. So, all right, do I start Tua or Russ?
What you think, P?
I'm going Russ, man. I know Russ got a little. He's got a little hammy. And Russ is going against. Let's see their matchups here. I know I was just looking at this. Yeah,
you're starting Russ with the hand, and he's been struggling too.
It's kind of rough. I just like, I mean, I don't know what Tua is going to look like. You know what? To be honest with you, it's a toss-up. I think I would go Tua at least, actually, right? So Russ has been getting a lot of dirt thrown on him because he's been looking like trash, especially in prime time. I think I may go Tua. On this one, man. But I mean,
you think, or you going Tua?
I don't know, man. I think I'm gonna go Tua though. I mean, Russ just
goes pick a player, dog. God damn,
Russ
bro.
Looks bad, bro. What do you mean? God damn, Russ looks like shit. What do you want me to say?
Then pick Tua.
You got to go Tua then.
God, but them Tua fingers, bro. It's kind of scaring me, man. How's this vertebrae?
Scared, yeah, you're scared, bro. I'm taking Tua as long as he practices. If he's healthy, go get Tua Tagovailoa and play him in the game. Period. That's a point.
Oh, okay.
He went the period. He said it with the T. Dan said it with the T at the end. Period. Now I go Tua, man, and obviously the receivers can carry. You see Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle doing more with less. So give me Tua. Start DK or Godwin this week. It's all matchup dependent. We got to see Tampa and Seattle play. Probably go with Godwin. He's a little safer than DK, but it all depends on the matchup for me. I haven't taken a look at the matchup yet for DK. Make sure you join the starter sit session on Sunday. We got a better answer for you.
The matchup is Chargers.
Chargers for DK?
Yeah.
And who's Godwin go against?
The Panthers.
Oh, I'm going Godwin.
Go Godwin.
Yeah, I'm going Godwin all day. Zeke for Judy and Travis Etienne in PPR leagues. Dan, who you rocking with?
Smash that. Go get that. Etienne is looking like the dude moving forward. You have to take this deal. I'm sorry, Zeke fans. You got to go.
Yeah. I'm not. I think Zeke is an RB2 though. Like I think it's just a low ceiling RB2. I'm not terribly happy with Zeke right now, and I'm not thinking he has a whole lot of upside moving forward, but Zeke is startable. And I think when Dak gets back, a lot of people are probably upset with how Zeke has performed this year. But Dak is coming back. It should open things up a little bit more for this entire offense, including Zeke. So I'm not as like a smash on this one because Jerry Jeudy looks like shit to me. But Travis Etienne does have the upside you want to see later on, so I think that's a good pairing. I'm not as like you have to do this deal because I think Zeke is startable at the running back 2 spot.
I think Zeke is more than startable, but I mean, and he did look good. He had a touchdown called back last time too. He could have had 2, right? But I mean, I would still smash this deal auto accept, right? I mean, there's not that much of a difference between Etienne and Zeke, I think, moving forward.
It just comes down to touchdowns and versus catches because Travis Etienne just not having those touchdowns, but there's gonna be regression or positive regression for Travis. So I think that's gonna come, and it just seems like he's just taking control of the offense, getting very comfortable, coming off the injury, obviously halfway through the season now, another 6 months outside of the injury. He just looks good, man.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if he's taking control because the splits were pretty much even in terms of rushing, right?
Yeah, and I don't know what positive TD regression we're expecting out of a guy that hasn't proven that he's going to score a whole lot of touchdowns anyway. So
well,
to me,
again, he's still. I mean, at the end of the day, he's still a rookie. Like he had nothing last year in his rookie year. This is just kind of his first.
that's what
year.
I'm saying. There's no regression to the mean. There's no mean yet. Like we don't have any. We don't have any number for him yet. So
the number is 0. So I'm just saying he's got to score one.
Maybe we see Kyle Pitts have 1 last year as a rookie. So what's his? There's no positive regression there. So I just think with a guy like Etienne, I get your point, Dan, and that we should expect better from him moving forward. I agree with that. The upside is there. So it's a matter of, are you going to take the upside with Etienne or are you taking the floor with Zeke? And then for me, I think Zeke provides enough value RB2 wise. I'm okay if you go with the upside too.
Now, another thing about Zeke that you can see there is, them carries are pretty split 50-50 too, as well with Pollard. And, like I mentioned, right, I think the difference between Zeke and Etienne is not Jerry Jeudy, so I would still accept that. All right, just traded away Dillon and McLaurin for CEH and Juju. I see that as a win, especially with the injury that they just had at QB over there in Washington. CEH and Juju still on the same team, still a higher scoring team. Dillon, looks like 6 points, 9 points a week, and McLaurin has been disappointing. You guys think any different?
How did you feel about A.J. Dillon coming into the year, P?
Yo, I thought A.J. Dillon was the one to grab out of that RB dead zone, but that whole offense just looks a little off. I will say, though, Lazard looks good.
Always find a win. Hey, how to see Asian look? No, well, he ain't that much better. Let's keep it real. But no, out of this deal, this is a bunch of mid. Like, this is a bunch of mid. I don't know how else to put this deal, but this is a mid-tier deal. Like, Juju doesn't have much value to me. He's going to be hit or miss weekly. Same thing with CEH. Both of those guys on the same team are going to – one of them's going to have a good game, the other one's going to have a bad game, or they're both going to have bad games. That's how it's going to work for CEH and Juju. So I'm not actually sold on that deal, on that side of it. It's just what you're giving up isn't much either. Like, A.J. Dillon is trash. Terry McLaurin without Carson Wentz is going to be – this deal just screams mid to me. I'd almost just rather keep what I had and look for one singular player that can help you out.
Yeah, I'm the same thing. I mean, what is this deal? At the end of the day, maybe CEH right now.
You look confused, P.
The best player in this deal. CEH is the best player in this deal right now.
That's exactly my point. If you're looking at
if you're getting the best player, you're getting the best player.
CEH.
This deal is trash, and I would not be doing that deal. Terry McLaurin arguably could be the best player in the deal.
No,
yes, he could. Arguably, Terry McLaurin could be the best player in the deal.
He's the best talent for everybody. He's the best talent, but the best fantasy player is Clyde.
That's what I'm saying. So how are you? I don't get how this is like a. To me, this deal is ugly. I would rather just keep what I had and try to get one player that's not CEH and Juju. Like, to me, that's too low of a floor to trade away Terry McLaurin and Dillon. I feel like you can find better value somewhere else.
Cool. Okay. Moving on.
Yeah.
Moving the fuck on.
Get off the screen.
Moving on.
All right. Pick one wide receiver and one flex. DK, T, Kareem, Josh Reynolds, MT, Garrett Wilson. I'm going DK and I'm going T. And that's pretty straightforward. I mean, MT is out. Is he healthy? He's still
out this week.
What is going on with MT?
I don't know what to think about Michael Thomas, man. And it's one of those things that's starting to become concerning. Like, at first, when it first happened, I was like, he's fine. Give it a couple weeks. He's fine. He was close to playing. Adam Schefter said he was close to playing and then didn't play. And now here we are 5 weeks, 4 weeks later, whatever it is, and it's still an issue. He's ruled out before the game even happened. So the only hope is that it was a Thursday game. They have a long week and a half. If he doesn't play next week, is it time?
Bruh.
It might be drop time.
Drop time. I don't know about drop time, but I mean,
what else you do with him?
You bench him until he plays. But
if you have an IR spot that allows for him to be stashed, you absolutely just stash him on your IR, and that frees up a space for your bench. But yeah, it's definitely concerning. It's like you can't count on Mike Thomas at this point. Like, you just he is simply like D-Hop, where he's suspended, where he's a talent. We know he's a talent. When he played, he scored. Like, he was a solid fantasy option. But at this point, he's fodder. If
he's ruled out for week 8, and we got 5 weeks left in the fantasy season, the Saints bye week is week 14. You have 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, maybe 5 games out of him. I guess he's not. I wouldn't drop him necessarily, but it's getting to that point where I'm actually thinking about, shit, I would drop Michael Thomas right now to go get somebody else. I'm not saying I would, I'll clear that up. Maybe I'm not saying I would drop him, but it's getting to that point where I'm like, what the hell do I do with this guy, man? We've seen this. This isn't the first time it's happened with Michael Thomas.
Yeah. If you're desperate, your benches are short, you have injuries, you have bye weeks, and you need to drop somebody to just survive the week. Exactly. 8-man league. I'm okay with it. I'm okay with dropping Michael Thomas. The other day, this league that I'm in, this guy dropped James Conner. So like there's
I don't see nothing wrong.
Yeah, and people would think that would be crazy, but hey, you got to do what you got to do.
Welcome to 2022, huh? And another little tidbit about this whole Michael Thomas situation that makes it even more frustrating. I mean, people had to reach on him to get him, right? Like he's a lot of people's wide receiver too, right? But he seems like the type of player that if his team is not even in it, there's no incentive for him to come back. So that's because
he's not coming back to play with Andy Dalton hurt. He's like, let me get fully healthy. Let me get this guy who can throw me the ball, Jameis. And if Jameis ain't playing well, I'm hurting again. Like my hammy's hurting again.
Yeah, that is what it is. I mean, if that's true, then it speaks to his character, man. Like, come on, man, you're a professional athlete. Go out and play, man.
That's true as fuck. Josh Allen needs to temper his expectations when hurdling players and running in the open field. Dan,
that's what makes him a dog, baby.
He's a G, bro. Man. He's a G. Like, I'm sorry, no, I'm not tempering no expectations. He's a lord.
Is Russell Wilson the biggest fantasy disappointment in a league a year full of disappointments? That's a good question. I think that there's a lot. In my opinion, I think Michael Thomas would be for me.
He's starting to get there.
Yeah, Russ is starting to get there. Geez. I mean, you guys got any other ones?
AJ Dillon to me, because Russ, we've seen Russ actually have a decent game. AJ Dillon, I don't think he's had one good game all season. I don't even know if he's even scored a touchdown.
I think he has. I think it was like week 1 he did.
Did he?
We'll have to check that up. Let me see, because I remember I drafted him in a league, and I was like, oh,
nah, you'd have been hyping his ass up like, AJ Dillon's a lord.
Trade for him. Oh, damn.
He got one first week. It was
God.
I mean,
never to be seen again. I think Russell Wilson is definitely in the top 5 as far as disappointing. Obviously, Jonathan Taylor is probably the number 1 disappointer. Like, going 101, not getting what you need there. I just look at the first round. It's kind of like, Kyle Pitts, disappointing.
Najee, huge disappointment.
Kyle Pitts,
disappointing.
There's a lot of disappointments out there this year. I ain't gonna cap. Dalton Schultz.
Even to a little extent, it's Chase. Chase, like, he's kind of had like 2 really good games.
Nah, he had that game last week. He out that conversation. He ended that shit quick.
He got out. You're right. If he had another mid game, he would have been in. He would have been in.
But there's a lot of people that are disappointing. So, damn, Kamara kind of lightweight.
Nah, he already bounced back. He was hurt. Yeah.
Back.
There was some players, but the thing is, at this point, it's still really early. We've seen players have terrible first halves and strong second half. So I think you can say the word so far, and maybe he's one of the biggest disappointments so far. But you're also looking at another quarterback in that same range who doesn't look that good, and that's A-Raj. Like, we were expecting a lot more from A-Raj, too, and he's been really mid, too. So there's been a lot of fantasy disappointments, I would say. Justin Fields has looked like shit. Like, and a lot of people are expecting him to take that next step. So Darnell Mooney was expected to be like this wide receiver. Yeah, expected to be this wide receiver 3. There's a lot.
Elijah Moore.
Elijah. Oh, my God.
Elijah Midmore.
Yeah,
we try to tell y'all. We try to tell y'all.
Yeah, but hey, I mean, okay. Do I keep or trade Mixon? If I trade, who should I target? I don't think you should trade Mixon. I think you should keep him, right? And the reason is because he's getting used. He's getting the usage. It's just his lack of touchdowns. Like, he got one last week, and he did look good. And if you're gonna trade him, you'd want to pair him up and trade. I would pair him up and target one of the top 3 or 4 wide receivers personally, right? So, I mean, what do you guys think? You guys think any different?
I think you got to kind of keep Mixon for me. I mean, it's hard to find a running back. It's like, why am I trading this guy? And we just spoke to it. There's a lot of running backs that disappointed. If you have one that's doing well, I mean, why are we trading that? It's so hard to find running backs, man. So I wouldn't really trade him.
Now, this Bengals team started off a little bit slow. They've been dealing with injuries. Their O-line hasn't been playing as well as it has in the past. Well, it hasn't been that good, and then they were expected to be better, and they're not. So just know this team is turning it around, though. Had a decent game against the Saints. They've been playing better, and that's what you want to see because out of these AFC North teams, and I've been talking about this, these AFC North teams run the ball in the second half of the year. Talking about Mixon, talking about Najee, right? Talking about even a J.K. Dobbins if he gets fully healthy. Talking about Nick Chubb. We see these guys when the weather, they all play outdoors. The weather tends to be a more of a factor there in the second half for these guys. So Mixon will probably be better in the second half. He's just been a little bit mid to start the season. So I'm not worried about him. I'm keeping Mixon at running back 1 value. If somebody wants to pay higher than that, move him. But you're not moving him for less than running back 1 value.
Yeah, but who are you gonna like? Who would get him off your team? Who would have that conversation started for you, Jay?
If I was getting an elite wide receiver 1, if I was getting Mike Evans, if I was getting a CD Lamb, now I'm starting to look at that. Even like getting down into that D-Hop, Amon-Ra St. Brown territory, if I could get that in another small piece, or if I just needed a positional swap, maybe I'm looking at that. But I have to value him as a back-end running back 1. Like the running backs, I wouldn't take like these Damian Pierce guys, Kenneth Walkers, Breece Halls. I would keep Mixon over those guys. And I know they have higher upside and they could potentially pass him, but we've seen what Mixon has been his entire career. So I'm locking in Mixon at the value there. And just, I know that it's coming with him. He's not going to be a 600-yard back this entire season.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. All right. Are you worried about Aaron Jones? Dan, we kind of talked about this a little bit last week. Him being spotty. Now with this whole offense kind of being shitty,
it's ugly.
Yeah, I am worried about Aaron Jones. I'm not gonna hold you. I mean, because he's got a lot of he's just looking like shit. To keep it real.
So you're worried about Aaron Jones? You mean you're worried about him being like, what do you mean when you say you're worried about him?
Like when I say I'm worried about him, I have a feeling that he's not going to return that second round value that a lot of people drafted him as. He's just not.
Okay, so how far down are you dropping him? You said he's not second round value. Where are you putting him right now on your running backs? Like top 12, is he top 20?
No,
like where are you putting him?
He would be he'd be like a back end RB2, right? Just because, and the only reason is because he still holds upside, right? But we've expected him to get a lot of catches that we just haven't seen. We expected him to be like getting more touchdowns. We've expected so much of this guy with the lack of target share that went to Las Vegas, right? So, but we're just not seeing that. And they're running these guys 50-50, and it's just not going anywhere, right? Everybody on that team is trash. And the most consistent person, I'm gonna keep saying it again, is Alan Lazard. He's consistently, every time he's played, he's got a touchdown. I mean, that's just a fact, right? So,
yeah, so I'll play devil's advocate. I think if you have Aaron Jones, I think you kind of got to wait it out. If you don't have him, I think it's a perfect opportunity after the next 2 weeks is to go attack him. If you look at the schedule, the points that he had in week 1, he was 10 points. Week 2, he was 32 points, right? But both of those teams were horrible against the run. Then he faced Tampa Bay at Tampa, against New England, the Giants, and then the Jets have been coming on. So now he's got Washington and Buffalo, still kind of hard defenses. So he's kind of run into some of the best run defenses in the league moving forward. But after Buffalo, he's got Detroit, bottom feeder in rush defense. Then you got to go against Dallas and Tennessee, kind of mid to upper tier run defense. But then you got Philly, bottom tier, Chicago, bottom tier. He's got a bye in week 14, Rams, Miami, Minnesota, bottom tier. So to play devil's advocate, he does have higher upside later on in the season, and I think it's a good time to buy low. If you have a owner that's saying, "Hey, he's low in RB2," shit, maybe this is your time to go get him.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that. I like Aaron Jones, and I think I accept Aaron Jones for what he is. He's a 10 to 12 point guy most weeks, and he's going to have the 25, 30 point blow up games. He's basically like the Mike Williams of running backs. And you have to accept that. And at the end of the day, he's probably going to be a top 15 running back when the season's all done. So I'm buying low on him. If I can get him at low end RB2 value, I'm going to go buy him. If I have to pay high end to mid tier running back 1 prices, I'm not. So I'm not really worried about him. I just know that he doesn't have the upside that we talked about, the floor. Like when I used to compare him to DeAndre Swift. We talked about this early on, guys. Him versus DeAndre Swift. And right now, DeAndre Swift, I'd rather have DeAndre Swift than Aaron Jones right now. Because I think he's
we
more
talked
consistent.
about him versus Chubb too. Chubb's taking that by
Facts.
far. So, all right, T or Amari Cooper rest of the season. You already know my answer. But you know what though?
Amari Cooper, right?
No, I got T, baby, T.
Are you not worried about T at all right now? The way he's produced this season? You want to talk about disappointments outside of the one game?
What do you mean outside of one game? Have you been seeing what T's been doing? What do you mean disappointment?
What's T been doing?
T Higgins, right? So even last week on a down week, still got 10 targets, right? So, I mean, let's pull up this guy's game log.
Well, I'll pull up his game log. It's 4 points, 19, 14, 25, 0, and 10. And Amari Cooper is leading him on the season.
I forgot
leading him on the season. So you got, sorry guys, you got 4, 25, 23, 1, 20, and 14.
Cooper has a lower floor, much lower floor than T Higgins at this point. Well, except for that game where he had 0,
but you know what?
He had the concussion or whatever it was that game. He got hurt.
Yeah, I mean, they've been targeting his ass early on, but another thing is, Amari has been surprising me, so it's not that bad of a question, right? Because he has been consistent, and you know what, week 11 or
Amari
week 12,
Cooper for Mike Thomas.
I would accept that Amari Cooper for Mike Thomas.
That we did in Dynasty. Dan was talking about that deal in Dynasty. I sent him Amari Cooper for Mike Thomas. He was looking like a win for the guy early on. He was looking like a win, and then Dan was like, "You got me on that one earlier, but now, I mean, the rug got pulled from under me, man. Mike Tom."
Yeah,
sad case.
It happens. It'd be like that.
It'd be like that for real.
That. All right, AJ Brown for Najee, worth it. I'm keeping AJ Brown.
Always about you, I swear.
Bro, I got these kids running around all day, man.
AJ Brown all day. It's not close.
Give it a.
Yes, sir.
Is Jimmy G a streaming option against the Chiefs next week? They're going to have to put up some points.
Yeah, man. I don't know, man. I just the Chiefs have been exposed against the pass. Like they're kind of shaky as far as pass defense, but they're a really good defense up front, and with injuries with the Niners right now, I don't know. I'm probably just gonna fade that.
I mean, Superflex is all right though.
He's a streaming option.
Yeah, Superflex and single QB is probably not though. Single QB, there's got to be somebody better out there.
Right.
I think he would be a good streaming option. I mean, it's more so for the fact that we're gonna have to keep up because our entire defense is hurt. Our defensive line, Chartavius Ward, our starting corner, just got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to put up some points on us. So Jimmy G can put up some points when he needs to. He could sneak into that top 15 quarterback range. So
I'm saying, single QB league though, maybe. If you're desperate.
Yeah.
Let's see, my guys. If I had to sell high on CMC, what would y'all ask for in return? What's good, Irv? If you're going to sell high on CMC, you're asking. I mean, you have to value him as a top 3 running back right now. You have to.
Yeah.
Even if he hasn't performed all the way there, you have to value him as such, and especially for the fact that if he got traded, it could increase his value. So I don't think that CMC is getting traded, but if he did and he went to a contending team, a team like the Bills that's reportedly interested in him, that changes things. So if you're going to sell high on CMC, it has to be for top 3 running back value.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't sell high on him. I think he is top 3 in a league that is very limited in running backs. But the teams that are interested in that are reported, the Niners, really good run game.
The Niners are not going to go for CMC.
These are the teams that are reported that have shown interest. The Niners, the Rams, and the Bills. If he goes to any one of those teams, his value takes a huge step up, in my opinion. So
it's kind of crazy because I kind of see it like I don't see him having the same value. I think it would be great to sell when he moves the new teams, because really, I mean, look at him right now, 15, 16, 13, 25, 23, 22. Like, he goes to the Bills. Allen still snipes his stuff at the goal line. Like, Allen doesn't really, I mean, I don't know, man. Like, I think it might be a great time to, hey, if he goes to the Bills, let's say, okay, hypothetically, everybody's going to think that he's the number 1 fantasy option. He's the next, Marshall Faulk type stuff. I think that's a perfect time to just sell him for the world. Get a Cooper Kupp, get get maybe a Derrick Henry out of him. I mean, you never know what you could get. I'm with Justin right there. I mean, you're going to sell him at top 3 value, but you can almost sell him at top 1, the player value at that point. So sometimes you just got to, hey, Apple stock is at its all-time high, man. Just
sell high, baby.
Sell it, bro. Just sell it.
You gotta sell high. No, I think if he goes to the Niners, it wouldn't be a good thing. Like the Niners, I feel like Shanahan would be like, "Oh, you're not hot this week, so I'm playing Tevin Coleman behind you. TDP, get this carryover CMC." Like I feel like it'd be all bad for the Niners, maybe even for the Rams too. But for the Bills, I feel like even if he lost the touchdowns, what I do think he would find on the Bills, and that would make him probably more elite, is the spacing. Like with just Gabe Davis and his usage, I think he'd be able to be more efficient with his touches with the Bills. He may not have as many scores, but I still think he would catch the ball rock. He'd be on the field a lot. I think with the Bills, he would probably be still a top 3 option.
That would be a scary, scary Bills team, let me tell you.
You're always scared.
Bruh, come on, man. We're going to run the Bills. All right, you guys think I should start Rodgers versus Washington or Dak versus Detroit? I'm going Dak versus Detroit, even coming off that injury. Detroit's got a terrible defense and a pretty good offense, so it could be a shootout over there.
Detroit has been bad.
Yeah, Detroit's been
all
bad.
That hard knock shit for nothing.
All for nothing, and that's tough when you don't have your superstar in Swift.
You see these tears? You see these tears? We win 3 fucking years. You see this?
Yeah,
this passion. That's one win, dog. That's one win.
Cracking. I was like, bruh, can
Ouch.
you chill, get back to the bench?
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad.
All right, if Russ doesn't play next week, do I play McLaurin over Sutton? I'm still going Sutton. I'm still going Sutton.
Go Sutton.
Actually, I don't know Taylor Heineke in there because I don't even who's the backup right now for the Broncos. I don't even know who the backup is.
The backup not playing if Russ is anywhere close to healthy.
It says if Russ does not play. That's the clear disclaimer here. I'll probably go Terry McLaurin with Taylor Heineke.
Yeah,
we've seen Heineke.
If Russ doesn't play, yeah.
All right, should I trade Jamar and Monty for Mixon and Lockett? I'm keeping Jamar and Monty in that one. Jamar and Monty for Mixon and Lockett. It's not bad. But I'm keeping Jamar and Monty. That's
Jamar. Yeah, moving on.
AJ Brown and Gerald Everett for JT. Would y'all pull the trigger? AJ Brown and Everett for JT. I think I'm still leaning towards the AJ Brown and Everett side. Everett's really not a non-factor in this. So if it's AJ Brown for JT, you know what? I think I would pull that for JT depending on what my wide receivers are. Give it to me, baby.
If there's a fence, if there's a decision to make, P gonna play both sides like a motherfucker. That way he can go back and edit up whatever side he wants.
Clip it up, baby. Clip it up. Nah, but to keep it a
which side is it, P? I'm still not sure what you meant.
I'm taking JT. I'm taking the JT side, man. That's a good buy low op, in my opinion. Because it's really AJ Brown for Everett, so. Or AJ Brown for JT, so give me JT. You guys think otherwise? I know, Dan, you had him as a fucking running back too last week.
Give me Jonathan Taylor every day and twice on Sunday. Like, I'm not worried about it. Yes, give me the guy that's the number 1 pick. Like, I mean, he's not out for the season. Hopefully he's healthy. Give me Taylor.
I think it's a good deal for you. AJ Brown's on a bye this week. Even if Jonathan Taylor doesn't play this week, then you're not really missing anything, right? So if he does play, you're good to go. And Gerald Everett is, like Pete mentions, a non-factor. Has too low of a floor. Keenan Allen's on the way back. It's A.J. Brown for JT. And I think you go with JT. You probably need a running back. It's a good move. It seems like an overpay now, but in 3 weeks, you'll be thanking yourself for it.
That's big facts. Would you trade away Devontae Adams and Gus Edwards for Waddle and Ramondre? No, I wouldn't. I'd keep Devontae Adams.
It's fair, but yeah, I would keep Devontae. Half-point PPR. I don't know. Half-point PPR, they're getting Ramondre. I'd still keep Devontae. Who am I kidding? That ain't enough for me to move Devontae. If I got Devontae, you're going to have to pay.
It could be one
pay to
pay to play, bro.
Yeah, you're going to have to pay that. So.
Dan is, what did he say? Dan is worried about Aaron Jones running wild on the Bills in 2 weeks.
Corey stays on your cap, bro. Corey stays on your cap, bro.
Corey always on my cap, but you know what?
What you got for him?
Yeah, come on, bro. I don't got nothing for him. He got nothing for me. Nothing.
It's the gods.
It's the gods, baby. Come on,
it's
bro.
The gods, baby.
I love you, Corey, man. Keep it up. Keep pushing me.
Should I sell Ramondre Stevens high? It's a good question. I like Ramondre Stevens. Depends on what I'm getting back. Now, if you guys, I mean, do you guys feel the same way?
Yeah, Ramondre Stevenson isn't a sell high candidate. This guy is he's a younger back. This team has been kind of trending and getting him more involved anyway. And so it's happened now. The Damian Harris injury has accelerated it, right? So over the next 3 weeks, he's expected to be out. Damian Harris is expected to be out for the next 3 to 4 weeks with the ankle injury. So Ramondre Stevenson's a play. He's not necessarily a sell high, and he probably is taking this job away from Damian Harris. So I could see Damian Harris coming in, still being used on the goal line. It's the Patriots. At the end of the day, it's situational. So unless you're trading Ramondre Stevenson as a back-end RB1 or high-end RB2, you got to keep him and ride it out. It's bye weeks. There's thin talent right now. Hold him.
All right. After week 3, I traded JT, Kelsey, Brandon Cooks, and Damian Pierce
Heavy.
for Joe Mixon, Jamar Chase, MT, and Darren Waller. Oh, at the time, I thought I got fleeced, but I don't know. Nah, anytime you get Kelsey in a deal, you won, bruh. But you also got JT in that deal.
He messed up.
No.
He
Read that again, Pete.
He messed up.
Oh, he sent Kelsey JT. Son, you took the L on that, Slime.
It sucks, but
L.
At the time he was doing the right thing though, right? He was buying low on Jamar Chase, buying low on Joe Mixon, buying low on Darren Waller, which we all talked about Darren Waller.
Buying low though.
I'm saying at the time, if he wasn't rocking with us, if he wasn't rocking with us, he didn't know. MT was expected to be back. So at the time, it's not terrible at the time. It just didn't work out, which happens.
The dude who traded those traded you. Yeah, he rocks with the gods.
He rocks with the gods.
Should I trade Mark Andrews for D Hop, Keenan, and Zach Ertz? Damn, yeah.
God damn, yeah.
Get all those players.
All of them. That's easy money.
That's heavy. Send that.
Send it.
I wish our league sent us that kind of deals, bro.
Man.
Damn.
That's hilarious.
Send all of it. Look, you getting 2 wide receiver ones and you're getting a tight end one? Send that shit ASAP.
It's not even a question. Golly.
Receivers no more. Darren Wallace for Njoku.
The end of that problem instantly.
Darren Wallace or Njoku. I'm going Waller.
Waller has a higher upside, but Njoku's just a breakout year, so you got to just roll with that. It just seems like Devontae Adams is going to get all the targets anyway. So
listen,
give me Njoku.
On Darren Waller, are we not concerned with his injury history? Like towards the end of last year, he started getting banged up. He's getting banged up this year, and it's not like when Derek Carr had him and he was just the guy, when Hunter Renfrow was a non-factor, that's when Darren Waller was a top 3 tight end. That's when we were going for those 12-target games. Darren Waller is mid now. We got to call it what it is. Darren Waller is going to have one of those games every 5 or 6 games. It's the Devontae Adams show. They're using Josh Jacobs in the red zone. Hunter Renfrow's a short yardage guy. Mac Hollins is the deep guy. What is Darren Waller for this team besides an injury-prone tight end that they rarely use? Send his ass. Give me Njoku as a bigger part of the offense.
Yeah. And he's more explosive.
Put that shit up, P.
He's a better athlete.
I'll clip that motherfucker. All you want, man. I mean, shit, you can put your flag on Njoku. But let me ask you something about Njoku, man. Yeah, look, who he has thrown to him now, he has a history of targeting the tight end, right? When that QB change comes, do you think it's going to change? Do you think he's still going to get targeted heavily like that?
Yeah, he was targeted in the preseason heavily by Watson. So yes, I'm okay with it.
And Watson's not coming back till week 13 anyway. So to me, it's you've already kind of established the ground level there. Chances are you have another tight end option if you have David Njoku, who's not your only tight end. Like at the end of the day, I think you're standing pretty strong with him as your guy. And Deshaun Watson definitely throws enough to carry a guy like Njoku's value. Keep it at a tight end 1. You see how weak tight end is this year. He keeps value.
Weak. Fuck, it's weak.
We skipped the question. ETN or Hunt this week? Who y'all like?
ETN.
Give me ETN. All right, Christian Kirk, Garrett Wilson, or Curtis Samuels? Give me Christian Kirk.
Kirk,
baby. Keep it moving.
Yeah. I
And
traded Russ.
That's not a confident Christian Kirk. That's like he's the best of the worst.
Yeah, 100%. I
Best
was
of the
thinking
mid.
Yeah.
I traded Russ, Damian Pierce, and Tyreek for Burrow, Cup, and ETN. Thoughts? Listen, I like that Burrow, Cup, and ETN side. Anytime you get Cup, he's the best player in this deal. Burrow is a much better quarterback than Russ. You got the tryhard of all tryhards, Damian Pierce. Let's hope he crashes down, and you get upside. You get more upside here with ETN. So yeah, I think you win that deal. All right, what do I do?
Awkward silence while we're trying to switch comments.
I switch it faster.
Yo, hey, we got three more. We got three more questions. Let's get to like some fun shit, man. After this, let's do some fun shit. I got some players. We're gonna talk about God or no, or we're gonna do player debates. Y'all rock through these last three questions while I dig up some players real quick. I got some fun shit for us.
Dope. All right, what do I do with Christian Kirk? I mean, you just keep him in your lineup, man. I mean, he's going to be heavily targeted, or he's going to get targets more. They'd like to target the slot wide receiver. Dan, you think any different? I mean, what else can you do? You can't sell him low at his value right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think you sell him as soon as he gets another good game. I mean, I didn't draft Christian Kirk. I didn't think he was going to be that good. I was totally anti Christian Kirk for the longest. So for me. If I'm trying to trade him, I just wait. I'd wait until that give me another good game out of Christian Kirk, and then maybe you can get a Keenan Allen where he's been injured, or even I'm probably not gonna get D-Hop because everybody now that has held him is like, okay, this is week one, like they're not gonna help him. But I think a Keenan Allen would be a solid one because Kirk was damn near close to a top 5 wide receiver in the first couple weeks, so. I think that was your time to really sell. But yeah, to me, it's kind of like, okay, he's last 3 weeks, he's had 8 points, 2 points, 10 points. You have to wait for a good week. You can't sell him at this point because there's no real value at this point.
That's facts. That's facts. You said it best. What we got next?
I'll run through this. Big boy Najee for Aaron Jones. I probably would take Najee over Aaron Jones. Etienne, Kirk, or Cooks, pick 2. I got Etienne, and I still got like Christian Kirk. And then last one, over under 14.5 fantasy points for D-Hop on a Thursday night. Always smash the over. I'm never betting the under, ever. Go get the over, Johnny Talk Sports.
All right. We ready?
Let's go.
We ready?
We're ready. All right. Here we go, baby. Let's do a little player. We're gonna do a player debate, bro. This is gonna be some quick hitters. All right. So just give me a quick answer. If there's anything you really need to get out, 1 sentence, 2 sentence max. All right.
Dan,
first player up,
quick.
we gotta talk about him. Kenneth Walker.
Dog.
Kenneth motherfucking Walker, right?
Dog.
Has had 2 strong weeks. Who we taking right now? Kenneth Walker, Najee Harris. Rest of the season.
Walker.
Give me
Send
Walker.
Send him.
Walker it is.
Send him.
I'll take Walker over Najee.
Kenneth
Easy.
Walker
A dog.
or Brees Hall?
Brees.
Kenneth Walker, Joe Mixon.
Joe Mixon.
God, Walker. He's a dog.
What?
Go.
Were you thinking Walker over Joe
Go.
Mixon?
Yeah, he's a dog.
You are
Let's
tripping.
I know. Kenneth Walker or Aaron Jones?
Walker.
Give me Walker, bro. Damn, Dan, how high are you on Walker?
He's a lord.
Kenneth Walker?
I'm not
Kenneth
mad.
Walker or Dalvin Cook?
Dalvin.
Dan, I swear to God, if you say something else.
Kenneth
I
Walker?
just stand for the culture.
Yo.
Walker.
Kenneth Walker or
Walker.
DeAndre Swift?
Swift.
Give me Swift.
Kenneth Walker or Damian Pierce?
Oh, look, I said it last time. Higher upside is Walker. Give me Walker.
Yeah, I'd take Walker. Walker's not a tryhard, bro. Walker gets that shit done, bro.
He get it
You know
done.
what I mean? Walker gets it done.
Man, all right. Last one. Kenneth Walker or Alvin Kamara?
Give me Alvin.
I love
Give me
Kamara.
Alvin.
I just
Yeah.
can't.
All right.
Yeah.
So we kind of like Kenneth Walker has entered running back 1 territory. It seems like he's at back in running back 1 territory, taking him over guys like Joe Mixon potentially, Aaron Jones
No.
potentially. It was right there.
Who said you said Walker over Mixon, Dan?
Yeah, man. I just think that he's doing well on a horrible team, right? So the Mixon is very good. He's not a tryhard. I don't see Mixon as tryhard.
Yeah.
I think he's a very talented player. But I guess for me, I lean on the receiving core of the Bengals more so. I think Mixon is like a solid player, but I really like Kenneth Walker. I got to stick to my rankings as far as even the preseason. I had Walker's for redraft at number 2, right behind Breece Hall, and so he's doing what I thought he could. So I have to stick with that.
Yeah, he did have a good looking breakout run, and Seattle's underrated run blocking. Man, they get it done when it comes to the run.
And the thing I was concerned about is no longer a concern. He's getting the workload. There's no.
You mentioned DJ Davis and all that other.
You had to account for it because that's how Seattle plays. DJ Dallas. Get it right.
Whatever. Get DJ Dallas right? Nah, bro. I'm going to keep his name wrong. I knew his name.
All right.
Call him DJ Davis.
Next player up. DeAndre Hopkins is back. We got to talk about D-Hop.
D-Hop, bro.
All right. You taking DeAndre Hopkins or Mike Williams?
D-Hop.
Give me D-Hop.
DeAndre Hopkins.
After what Mike Williams did last week or this last game,
embarrassing, bro. Embarrassing.
You sound mad at that, P.
DeAndre Hopkins. I lost the league. I needed 6 points for him, bruh. Get him out of here. Get him out of my fucking face.
DeAndre Hopkins or Cortland Sutton?
D-Hop.
I would take D-Hop over Cortland.
DeAndre Hopkins or Michael Pittman?
Pittman.
I'm gonna go D-Hop. No, I'm going Pittman. and I ain't gonna hold you. And it's a sneaky little stat, but they're throwing a lot over there. They're throwing a lot more than what we thought. Maybe it's because of JT factor, but yeah, give me Pittman.
D-Hop or Amon-Ra St. Brown?
Give me.
I hate St. Brown. D-Hop, bro.
Give me D-Hop, bro. Give me D-Hop. Yeah, little ass Amon-Ra St. Brown.
DeAndre Hopkins or Deebo Samuel?
Deebo.
Give me Deebo.
Deebo? Easy.
Why you whisper it?
Deebo.
Deebo, bro. Deebo's a god.
With authority.
Dog.
Deebo.
DeAndre Hopkins or T. Higgins?
T, boy. Give me T. Higgins.
Oh, you knew that was coming.
Give me T. Higgins. You already know what time it is.
Give me D-Hop, bro. Give me D-Hop.
Oh,
give me D-Hop, dog. Give me D-Hop.
Give
me D-Hop, dog.
D-Hop is up there. It seems like he's like a top 10 option for everybody. D-Hop or Jalen Waddle?
Give me D-Hop. Easy. That's
easy?
Easy.
Jalen Waddle's number 6 in receiving yards right now.
Not easy.
Right now. Yeah, it's easy.
Right now. All right, so D-Hop seems to be in that like wide receiver 1 category, guys, because I mean we're putting
wide receiver. Yeah, you got a wide receiver. I got him right there on the pinnacle of wide receiver 1 and wide receiver 2.
Back in wide receiver 1, essentially.
12, 13, yeah.
You skipped my question. Ask it again, Randy. Ask it again. D-Hop or Godwin? It looks like it's D-Hop right now. He's a wide receiver
D-Hop.
1. Yeah.
Yeah.
Offered Lockett for Alec Pierce. I like Lockett better than Alec Pierce. Straight up.
Yeah, it's close.
Alec Pierce has some upside, though.
Yeah,
Amon-Ra over D-Hop, Debo over D-Hop. Hey.
Debo over D-Hop, baby. It is what it is.
All right. Last position, tight end. And this name we done thrown on this show way too many times. Kyle Pitts.
God.
Kyle Pitts. What are we doing with Kyle Pitts? All right. Kyle Pitts or Gerald Everett?
Pitts, man. I can't. Pitts.
It's close, but I'm gonna go Everett, man. I'm still sticking with Everett.
Kyle Pitts. Yeah. I can't read my handwriting. Or Dallas Goedert.
Goddard.
Bro.
Goddard.
Yeah, Goddard. Give me Goddard.
Kyle Pitts or Zach Ertz?
Zach Ertz, man. It's not even close.
It's not close?
No, it's not.
So you don't think Kyle Pitts is bouncing back at all into that territory then, huh?
I mean, is there any signs for him to show that he's bouncing back?
I mean, he just had a touchdown last game. Came back.
He had three targets, 19 yards, and a lucky touchdown. If he did not have that touchdown, we'd be talking about how fast we're going to be dropping Kyle Pitts. Let's keep it a buck. Kyle
Pitts or Taysom Hill?
Give me Taysom Hill, baby. Give me Taysom.
Give me Pitts, bro.
Give me Taysom, bro. All those advanced stats you were talking about week 1 and week 2 and week 3, where are they? Where are they? Those advanced stats don't mean shit, right? Oh my God, I want to break my shit.
Kyle Pitts or George Kittle?
You already know.
Kittle, baby.
Kittle, baby.
I'm even with you on Kittle. All right, and then battle of who's going to bounce back the hardest, Kyle Pitts or Dalton Schultz?
Dalton Schultz is going to bounce back, and it's not close in my opinion.
You think Dalton Schultz is about to bounce back over Kyle Pitts, and it's not close?
Did I stutter? Bruh, and I'm going to tell you like this.
You've been stuttering all day, so get it out.
Okay, I said, well, let me give it to you then. Let me tell you like this. Bounce back from what? What is he going to bounce? What is Kyle Pitts literally going to bounce back? He's had nothing but opportunity to show what he can do, and he's been doing nothing but regressing. Like I mentioned, if it wasn't for that touchdown, we would talk about how he's a drop candidate. Dan, you talking about earlier this season, all of these advanced stats, how often he's getting targeted, his ADOT, all that other shit, and it's decreasing each and every week. His routes run are decreasing each and every week. So when you're talking about bounce back, what are we talking about? There's nobody else to really compete with in targets. They don't even throw that much as a team. Now, if you're talking about Dalton Schultz, Dalton Schultz is coming back from injury. He's getting Dak back, right?
Kyle Pitts is coming back from injury too, so I think that's a moot point. Like Kyle Pitts is coming back from injury.
We're talking about a serious injury, and Dalton Schultz and Dak coming back from injury. What's his name coming back from injury?
He sat out a week. Okay. That's coming back from injury. He was injured. And so Kyle Pitts, to me, he maybe doesn't have the same type of offense that Dak will have, but he's also the featured part of that offense for the Falcons when healthy. Since last year, and obviously this year it hasn't been to the same level. But like Dan mentioned, when you look at those advanced numbers, we don't really look at those. I'm not a big advocate of them, but they do speak volumes. And when you own a target share, you own some of the metrics that are needed in order to show that there's efficiency.
But does he even own the target share? That's what I'm saying. The advanced stats are no longer advanced.
I get it, Pete. I get what you're saying. There's not a lot of room there for growth with Kyle Pitts. The offense they're not throwing a lot. I get that. But then when you talk about a Cowboys team, even when you're getting Dak back, you still got CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup, Noah Brown is coming to the fold. They're going to be running the ball. Tony Pollard is part of the passing game. It's not like Dalton Schultz coming into the year where he had to be the wide receiver 2 for this team. He's not in that role anymore. Dalton Schultz doesn't have to be that anymore, which he had to be last season. He had to be this year. The weapons are back for the Cowboys. And so I think that actually hurts Dalton Schultz, and it also hurts that these other tight ends are stepping up in his place. To me, I don't see a lot of hope for Dalton Schultz.
So you taking Dalton Schultz rest of the season over Kyle Pitts or no?
I'm taking Kyle Pitts over Dalton Schultz rest of the season easily.
Easy. You can't even say that with a
easily. Easily, bro. Dalton Schultz. Yeah. Dalton Schultz is like a high-end tight end too right now.
I don't understand how you could say that and sit here and say it's so easily. That does not make any sense what you're saying.
What role is Dalton Schultz playing in this offense for him, dog? Like,
what role is Kyle Pitts playing?
Kyle Pitts is the number 2. Kyle Pitts is number 2 right now. He's the number 2 wide receiver for this team. Number 1, arguably number 1. He's getting number 1 coverage. Kyle Pitts has been seeing the number 1 coverage. That's a fact. It's not me making it up. Kyle Pitts has been seeing number 1 coverage every single game.
Did you watch the last game?
Yes, I watched the last game.
And you're talking about him coming in and him staying in and blocking. It's him seeing number 1 coverage? Him getting targeted 3 times? He got targeted 3 times.
Bruh. We can continue to talk about this shit, bruh. At the end of the day. I'm taking Kyle Pitts.
It's going to be a target
over Dalton Schultz, bro. Dalton Schultz.
Let's revisit
this. Dalton Schultz had 0 targets last game. We're really talking about it. 0.
Yeah. It still looked better than him. He still looked better than Pitts. Man, We'll revisit this in 3 weeks.
Of course we will. We revisit everything on this motherfucking show.
Always.
You heard? All right. If it's a non-PPR, who wins? Cam Akers and Dawson Knox or
Ugly.
MT for Ertz? Oh my God.
Give me the MT Ertz side.
Give me MT Ertz, 100%.
Even in non-PPR.
Yeah, PPR.
Should I trade Deontay Johnson for Travis Etienne? And the running backs already are Mixon, Walker, Evans, Higgins, London, Thielen. Send Deontay Johnson, bro.
Yeah, I'd be okay with that.
Send Deontay Johnson.
You got Walker. You got Mixon. Yeah, you good.
Yo, what's happening? You gonna say, yo, say something, bro. What's good? Scripts.
Yeah, yo.
Did someone talk about Deontay Johnson? Did someone say fade him? Bro, I gotta just like we can't just let this hang on. We gotta talk about it, dog. Because how much shit was talked about you saying fade Deontay Johnson, bro? Yeah,
it was bad, bro. Like there's a lot of hate for it, but he's seen a lot of. He's even seen more targets than I thought. He's just not that good. Like Deontay Johnson just isn't. He's not as good as some of the other receivers that were in that category. So to me, it wasn't justified. He's small. He drops the ball a lot. He's an average wide receiver. He's a wide receiver 3. Mike Williams, Deontay Johnson, all these motherfuckers, they wide receiver 3s. You got to know elite talent when you see it. And that's why, Dan, your call of George Pickens was like, it was a top tier call, bro, because we see it. He's talent. Like, there's a difference between talent and just volume. And it's like Deontay Johnson is just volume mid. He's trash, bro. Like, I don't want Deontay Johnson on any of my fucking teams.
Yeah. It was a good call, especially with the how Big Ben was just, his weak arm. He's checking down and he's throwing these short routes and hoping they bust. We don't got that no more this year, bro. We don't got that no more. No more of that,
bro. We've had some good calls, and through 6 weeks of the year, guys, I want you to kind of take a look back. We're a third of the way through the regular season right now. Give me a call that you had that you think will stick. Give me one that you had. You were like, you know what? This has staying power. I was right about this guy even more than I thought, and even if I was wrong about this guy, I still think it can come to fruition. Do you guys have a player off the top of your head that you were like really in on? Like, Dan, I know you dropped a name on the line a little bit earlier. Do you have a name any other names that you like, or is that your guy? Like, talk about a name that you called early on in the season that's working out for you.
Well, obviously, I'm gonna just we'll preface it with Pickens and Breece Hall and all of them. The rookies are kind of what I've been trying to tell y'all. Like, there isn't no like outstanding rookie besides like Breece was like that number guy that I thought, okay, he's gonna hit, right. Obviously for me it's Gabe Davis, huge. He's been doing well. And where is Gabe Davis at right now? Where is he in the projection?
He's creeping up. Gabe Davis is creeping up.
I need to know, man. I got to see it now. I got to just double check like where.
I got you right now, dog. Go ahead.
You're looking. Go ahead, go for it.
Gabe Davis is number 23 right now. Wide receiver 23 on the
year. So I said 24 to 12 in that range. So obviously he's right there.
Oh, you stretching that? You stretching that?
No, but come on, dog. Like I said that. 12 to 24. That's right. Well, 13 to 24 is. It's crazy. Like, obviously I called Josh Allen, to be the number one, stay the number one. I know Justin was bigger on Mahomes, and they're both doing well. I mean, it's just, I think the biggest one that I busted on, okay, and I'll admit, and that's still Jalen Hurts. And right now he's doing well. He's got a great team. He's got great weapons around him. Hey, I have to admit when I'm wrong. And obviously fantasy wise, he's doing well. We'll see how it plays out at the end. And as far as the Eagles go, I did really like A.J. Brown, and I did really like Goddard. So both of those guys have kind of worked out with that.
Yeah, so, I'm sticking with my Lazard pick. I think that, I said he was going to be a high-end or wide receiver 2. And he's been putting up consistent wide receiver 2 numbers. He's been putting up consistent double-digit numbers. He is the red zone threat over there on a team with no experience. Now, is it going to continue? I mean, there have been reports that Green Bay's looking to trade for a wide receiver. So that, and somebody that comes to mind is DJ Moore
Mm-hmm.
could potentially go over there with Carolina kind of selling the house. So, I mean, we'll see if it continues, but I mean, he's been the only consistent piece on that team on Green Bay. So,
That Lazard thing, you gonna be running with that to the grave, bro.
bruh, I mean, what you want me to do,
Yeah.
man?
Nah, I think for me, obviously Saquon Barkley was my guy. Like, and I think he's gonna finish as the running back one this year. I think it's inevitable. He's the guy. At least has that production. And then as far as miss, obviously I think Najee was like my biggest miss. Like just calling Najee to be a top 3 guy, and it's just he's not gonna be that this year. So it's cool. It's cool, you know what I mean? And at the end of the day, we're gonna have some. We don't go with cookie cutter takes a lot of times on our page. So we're gonna have some misses, but we're gonna have a lot of wins too. So just keep rocking with us. And yeah, I mean, you just gotta be able to own the shit. It's kind of fun to look back though. In 3 weeks, shit can change too. You know what I mean? Like for a lot of these things. So
yeah,
absolutely,
big time. But you got to go against the grain, baby. That's the only way you're gonna win. That's the only way you're gonna win your league. You can do what everybody else is doing. The whole league's doing that. You go against the grain and don't be afraid of that shit. But yeah, I mean, that being said, y'all, we can peace out at this point, man. Thank y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all for the questions. You know what I mean? So, but tune in next time. Keep following us on TikTok, Twitter, YouTube.
Hit the sub button, baby.
Hit this sub button on YouTube. And yeah, baby. One last question. Joe Mixon or Josh Jacobs rest of the season? You know what? Give me Josh Jacobs, baby. He been looking good. He been looking good.
I think that at the end of the day, what you have to look at contracts. I mean, something if you have not really, if you're a novice fantasy player and you haven't seen it, you got to start looking money talks. And when he didn't get picked up for his 5th-year option, there's 2 things that you could take from that. Number one is the Raiders didn't believe in him, and NFL GMs, majority of the time they know better than us, right? Like we're amateurs; these guys are getting paid millions, but you also have to think about the player, and sometimes that you can't. The problem with evaluating talent is that you can't evaluate the heart, and obviously Josh Jacobs has that heart. He's saying, "Look, hey, you don't want to pick up my 5th-year option. I'm gonna force you to pick up an option or give me another contract." And what he's doing is incredible right now. I didn't see it coming. Keep it real. I was kind of leaning on the side of the Raiders GMs and just based on the advanced metrics. I just didn't really see this out of Josh Jacobs, but you can't deny the heart, and that's what's really pumping this man.
Is Jahan the only contrarian on this? Am I the only one still going with Joe Mixon? Because I am. And I think rest of the year, the only thing that Josh Jacobs, I think, has on his side is that he's had his bye already. So I'll give him that. But I'm still going with Joe Mixon. And I think Josh Jacobs has been the recipient of a lot of targets over the last 3 weeks. And we've seen Darren Waller be injured. We've seen Hunter Renfrow be injured during that time. So that's my only thing is that I'm not sure that it hasn't been part of the factor. He's getting a lot more receiving work than he has been in the first 2 weeks. So to me, I want to see it a little bit more. If he shows me, I probably change my mind. But right now, I still got Mixon over him.
Cool.
All right. With that being said, man, the mic drop, y'all. We out. Appreciate you guys.
Peace.
Peace.